Hello, welcome to Big Red Journeys. I'm your host, Big Red, and on today's journey, I'm going to take you on a tour of the USS Midway. Here is the current pricing for the Midway. Adults are 31, youth are 21, veterans with ID 21, children 5 and under are free, active duty military and sworn law enforcement and firefighters are free as well too. Well, now that we got our tickets, time to go aboard. I don't think we need permission from the captain. We already got the welcome aboard sign right there. Oh, the ship's bell. I don't know, is this actually the real ship's bell? Ah, it does make noise. Let's go inside here now. Got flags of all the branches of service here in the United States. Oh, we can also pick up the audio tour, pickups ahead. Well, that's nice. That's the Midway Carrier Group in 1987. That's a wonderful photo. We enter in to the hangar bay. And then we're greeted with an opportunity to take a photo in front of a nice, wonderful screen there. There's a gentleman right there who's going to take our photo. Of course, this is an additional charge. All right, and then there is an audio tour that you can pick up here. There's English, and of course, there's a few of them in different languages: Spanish, Chinese, French, German, and Japanese. And if you want to use your own personal device, you just do the QR code. It actually takes it up on the phone, and you can listen to it. So all you have to do to make it happen is you're just going to take your nifty, difty, super duper remote here, point to the thing. Oh, I heard a beep. Put it up to your head like this. I can hear it going on. There is an information booth here if you need it, and of course all these wonderful, knowledgeable gentlemen and gentle ladies here are here to help and answer all the questions you may have. And a lot of them are actually veterans themselves who have served. So we are in the hangar bay, which is one of the few levels that is open for the public here. There's also going to be the flight deck, which of course has all the planes and some of them you can actually go into. And we can go down into what they call the city, which is pretty much the living quarters, mess hall, galley, hospitals, and some of the specialty areas of the ship. Over here to the right, we got the Battle of Midway Theater in this section that talks about the namesake of this aircraft carrier, named after the Battle of Midway, of course, very famous battle in the Pacific. So there is a theater. Looks like they have a presentation that runs about every half hour. It's a 15-minute Voices of Midway film. So we'll definitely be checking out here. This right here is an SBD Dauntless dive bomber. And this isn't an authentic, this is original. This is a real plane. Wow. Oh, and here's an example of just tap and listen. Oh, that's pretty cool. The person who's talking right now is actually the pilot who, not necessarily this plane in particular, but he did fight in the Battle of Midway and flew one of these dive bombers. That's pretty cool. This is a TBD Devastator, which is a torpedo bomber. And you can see why it's called a torpedo bomber, because underneath it had a full-size torpedo. An impressive F-4F Wildcat fighter. Probably involved with a few dogfights, I'm sure. Look, there's the barrels of the guns. This is really cool. This is actually nature inspired, and I'm going to tell you why. See how the top part of the plane is more blue and darker and the bottom is lighter? Very similar to how sharks are and a lot of other creatures are in the wild, in the marine life, because the blue up top from a plane above them looking down, the blue matches like the seawater below them. It's hard to see them. And then vice versa, the lighter bottom there, if they're underneath the plane and looking up, it looks like the white blue sky. So it's actually a cool camouflage pattern. There's a reason for this two-tone color. So we were wondering what that was, but apparently they have it a little drill, as you would call it. They actually did the blow whistle, the bell. That was pretty cool. A reenacting what I guess would be the call if you had to, man your stations. So let's go check out the film, the Battle of Midway, Voices of Midway. Now what's pretty cool is up here at the front, they have kind of like a sort of replica of what the Yorktown, which of course was unfortunately the ship that was hit and torpedoed during that fateful battle. But look at this, this is pretty immersive. It's like a boiler room, engine room, that's going on. So it's a pretty good packed house right now. That was an actually interesting little 15-minute video. It spoke more about Torpedo Squadron 8, which really was a squadron of gentlemen who sacrificed a lot and really changed the outcome of the war leading into the Battle of Midway, which of course the Midway aircraft carrier namesake. It was very interesting, and like I said, it's a 15-minute video, runs through it's emotional because obviously he's talking about the history of these gentlemen who pretty much lived their last hours before the battle, but sacrificed what needed to happen to turn the waves of war. So very good, very good. I'm a kid at heart, so we had to pick this up. They got the junior pilot program. It's a pretty cool little, I guess, scavenger hunt, but it's really more knowledge based. So we're noticing, you see the green coloration? There's a reason for that. First of all, this is free to do, but you can see there's some questions that need to be answered because with our remote that we have, that's what the green ones were for. The green ones down here are for the little ones to listen in, and then they can listen and get the answers to these questions. And it even tells you where to look at. There's hangar deck, below deck, flight deck, and then once you finish, go back to the information booth, and I'm sure they got a cool prize for you. Oh, this is a nice plane. This is an F4U-4 Corsair fighter. And this is an opportunity for celebration because we actually have a gentleman here who served in World War II, and it's his birthday. So happy birthday to this gentleman right there. Doesn't look a day past 40. We're gonna go in here real quick. This is the SINS room, ship's inertial navigation system. So you can see a nice antiquated version of navigation. It's called a telefax. It's a more modern version. Little cockpit you can take a picture in. That's pretty cool. I like that. Oh, I also see some jumper seats in the back as well too. You can take a seat. This is a HO-3S helicopter, utility helicopter, next to Barbara 3, which is a TBM Avenger torpedo bomber. So something that's actually special about this plane we just noticed, because we were running Barbara 3 and then we looked at the name, Lieutenant George H.W. Bush, President Bush, and sure enough, this was his plane. So all the planes that he flew during World War II, he named after his beloved wife, former First Lady, Barbara. So this is the Barbara 3, so we're assuming his third plane he flew. That is a pretty cool little piece of aviation history and presidential history. Also here in the hangar bay, we got a couple rides that you can operate. This one is one of those really cool simulators where you actually you can see some of the video of people actually about to get on. And this is the one where they toss you and turn you like a roller coaster. Prices are $20 for 2 riders or $10 each, not that bad of a price. Oh look, there's some kids right there. They're actually flying themselves, having a good old time. But for those who want a little bit of a thrill, but nothing too crazy, they also have the Screaming Eagles VR. This is $10 a ride. And this one is a more tamed version of a motion simulator. You just put the VR goggles on and they got the little chairs that bumpy and move. So we got the bulk store access hatch. This is where large items like engines, parts, supply crates were stores in the holds, and then they would lift it up here by hoisting it up. Oh, there's the winch right there. You can see it. But look at that. That goes down, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 levels? Geez, that's scary. It looks like there's a, I don't know, engine at the bottom right over there, but that's kind of scary. Got the thick plexiglass right there, but whew. Let's go stop for a quick bite to eat at Cafe 41. They have a quick service out here which doesn't have the full menu, but they have a decent amount of items. But if we go in here, here's the actual cafeteria. They got specials like beef bowl, chicken bowl, carnitas bowl, queso chips and dip. They got the world famous chicken tenders. What makes them world famous? I don't know. They got cheeseburger, Nashville hot chicken, corn dogs and fries. Of course, they got beverages right here. Teas, monsters, water, sodas. And over here are some more sandwiches. These are already prepared, ready to go. Got tuna salad, salmon, burrata, Italian hero, mac and cheese, soups of the day. So we're about to go into the flight deck here. But this gives you a nice little overview of what to expect there. We got the LSO platform, aircraft. Obviously, that's the main piece right there, is looking at all the different aircraft. They're gonna have the Trap Cat talks. I heard there's actually a gentleman here who was on board the Midway and a plane that flew there. The one that you're going to present on, that's actually really, really cool. So I'm looking for that. You got the pilot ready rooms, the Admiral Captain countries. That's where the commanding officers would be located. The meatball is actually this little signaling area device right there. That's an affectionate name for it. And unfortunately, the bridge tour is not going to happen because they affectionately call that the island, and the island is closed due to some maintenance and repairs. So these little barrels that they got on the side here, these are actually 25-man life rafts, which are pretty cool. Obviously, if they ever had to abandon ship, they have a bunch of these throughout the vessel. And they have preparations. They got rafts and oars. They have a supply of water, some MREs, first data cores, dive markers, signal flares, whatnot. Things that people would need to survive if they get abandoned at sea in hopes that they can get rescued. But here we are. We got the flight deck now. There's a souvenir shop over there. And we're starting at the back of the ship. And we can see, oh, look at this, a Tomcat, or at least the cockpit of a Tomcat that you can go into, take a cool photo. Of course, that is the type of plane that was in the movie Top Gun, hence why they got the Top Gun colors. And Maverick right there, the call sign. Here we go to the LSO platform. Let's learn all about it here. I think it has to do with the landing signal. I think that's what the LS stands for. This is their platform. They got the phones here that they radio to the deck. Got the control systems over here. Looks like it's some sort of radio. And over here, this is the lighting remote panel. Bunch of knobs and switches and phones are right there. I'm assuming this is what's going to turn on and turn off the lights, especially during, yeah, you see there's some panel lumen. Yeah, there's some light switches right there. Controlling what is called the meatball, affectionately the signals, the lights that the pilots can see as they're trying to get ready to land the ship or land their plane right on board the carrier. It's always cool to see these planes, but really to know that these, all of them, served in some function or another. Some are actually from World War II, some from Vietnam, Persian Gulf War. They all have history to them, every single one of them. And some of them you can actually touch a piece of the history. You can actually go inside and get a nice little cool photo inside the cockpit of this guy. So here is Joe. He's doing a talk right now of what is called the TRAP aircraft landing, the aircraft recovery. And this gentleman here actually flew that plane right there, the one that he's standing behind.
Early warning airplane, Hawkeye touches down the wire, brakes. Does not happen very often. Watch. Did everything right. Wire broke. Nice straight wings on that aircraft. Same engines on that aircraft. It's a turbo prop. Jet engine turning a prop. All he has to do is change the pitch of the blades. Gets instantaneous power. Got over the wave tops, sucked up his landing gear, was able to fly it away.
And that honestly is probably the coolest thing about the Midway, is having living history like that. I mean, we're talking to gentlemen who actually flew planes that you can see here on the deck of the Midway, people who served on the Midway, and in various branches, usually Navy, Marines, a few Army as well too here. That's the coolest part of the whole Midway, is the history that you get to see and speak with the people that are on board. This one came here off the USS Enterprise, at least the first one, the one that just got recently decommissioned. I believe that was the first nuclear aircraft carrier and also longest serving, and I think they're redoing it now with a brand new one from what I heard. It's an F-14 Tomcat. Okay. Now we saw this one during Jingle Jets, and I still need to confirm whether or not, maybe I'll ask one of these docents here, but with the stamps that are right there, was this helicopter involved with the recovery efforts to recover the command modules? Indeed, we did get the confirmation. This helicopter was involved with those missions when they went to recover the astronauts as they landed in the Atlantic. And we can actually go inside this one, which is really nice. Oh, we got a UDT Frogman right there. So just to imagine, you got all these astronauts, they get recovered, they just had their mission to the moon or to space, like an Apollo 13. Obviously the astronauts didn't make it there, they were just happy to be alive. But just imagine they get recovered and then they sit potentially in a bench like this. But this helicopter has so much history to it. That's crazy. Wow. So because right now the island being closed, they're having a docent talk right here in front of the island. Here's another helicopter. Oh, this one we can go into as well too. This is a CH-46C Knight vertical replenishment helicopter is what it's called. So I'm assuming a supply helicopter. Watch your head. And apparently it resupplies little kids. Here you go. So you got benches, cots for them to sit on. I don't know, would it be fully gutted like this? I think it would be gutted like that, empty. Wouldn't be covered. Pretty cool. And then got the ramp on the backside. That's what I thought it was. Yep, it's a Huey gunship copter, Assault helicopter, you can always tell because they had the big assault guns right over here. Look at those. That is crazy. You have a couple of the crewmen right here, air crew on the side, manning the guns. Very, very popular helicopter, especially during Vietnam era. We're now on the port side of the vessel, and you can see a beautiful, wonderful view of downtown San Diego to our left. Seaport Village, right ahead across right there. We got some of the old tuna boats and lobster boats right over there. Of course, the famous statue, Unconditional Surrender, modeled after the very famous kiss that sealed the end of World War II, the sailor who grabbed the nurse. A little bit of a controversy there, of course, nowadays, but still a wonderful landmark. There's the tribute to Bob Hope and all of the USO tours that he would do, and there's actually a statue of Bob right there in the center. You can kind of see him. Seaport Village, of course, the Coronado Bridge, iconic in San Diego. It's a beautiful, wonderful day in San Diego today. Not often you get to stand on top of an aircraft carrier and look outside and see two aircraft carriers, including the Lincoln right over there, right across the way in San Diego Bay. Currently in dock. I don't know which is the one next to it though, unfortunately, but number 72, there's the Lincoln. Got an E-2 Hawkeye, which is an airborne early warning plane, and early warning because of that big old device right up there that actually would detect incoming vessels, planes, ships, whatever the case may be. We're going to get a little special little privilege here to go inside this nice little plane here.
You're in the E-2 Hawkeye, so what is the purpose of the E-2? Airborne early warning. Now what does that mean? They're going, okay, well, I don't even know what that means. So the whole idea, that big dish up on the top, that's a radar. And the whole idea, obviously we have radar on the ship, but we can only see so far. The whole problem of the curvature of the Earth, you can only see so far. So if you put an aircraft with another big radar up at 25,000 feet, 200 miles in front of the strike group, then we can see that much further. And then also with our very robust communication suite and our data link, we can relay all that information that we're seeing to all the other aircraft that are flying off the Midway. We can relay that information back to the ship so the admiral and the captain has all that information. The whole idea, if we see you before you see us, we've pretty much won the fight.
That was fun. That was interesting. That was pretty cool. So the gentleman who was speaking, he didn't necessarily fly this particular plane, but he was a pilot aboard a ship just like this. So that was pretty cool. Talking about what the engineers, the radar technicians would be doing inside each part. That was really cool. The history they get to learn about that. And I mean, come on. Outside of ever joining the military, am I ever going to be able to set foot in a plane like that? No, you have to be here at the Midway. So that was really cool. This is a gentleman who's talking about the catapult systems that actually launch these planes off the deck.
Now we're going to hook up the whole back. Here's the dog bone coming in to the notch behind the wheels. We're going to take the T-section and put it into those slots on the flight deck. Now at that point, this airplane isn't going any place until we fire the cap.
Apparently it was only a 2-second trip from start till end off the deck. Walking all the way to the edge of the flight deck because it looks like we can do take a picture right here on the bow of the ship. Ooh, it's actually angled too. That's interesting. Oh, this is pretty cool. Yeah, you're over the water. Look at that. The mascot of the museum, as I call him, Shooter McGavin. You know, the gentleman who you would actually see signal to the pilot saying, okay, ready to go. Go down the flight deck. And that's what we call him, Shooter McGavin. Well, look at this, a FA Crusader. And you would think, what, besides the shark teeth, what caught your eye about it? It was the name right there. Colonel John Glenn Jr. Yes, the very famous astronaut and senator. This was his plane. This is so cool. I love seeing things like this. Like, I mean, come on. Attached to very famous people. Wow. And it looks like it was from the Midway because it's even stamped right there with the Midway, right above the Navy. So maybe this plane was on board the Midway at some point. I mean, obviously it is now, but maybe it served on board the Midway. But we can still go inside the Admiral and Captain's country. This is going to be where, you know, the officers would actually be. You got Admiral's quarters, the TFCC, don't know what that is, Radio Central, and Captain's quarters. So that's at least one thing we can do here. Also, I forgot to mention, if you do come on the Midway, make sure you wear comfortable shoes, preferably closed-toe shoes, because You're gonna have lots of ladders, and these things right here in between the doors. You're gonna hurt your toes if you don't be careful. Ah, at ease, soldier, at ease. And I'm going to assume this would be the Admiral's residency, his quarters. Very lavish, of course, for a military purpose. He has his own private washroom in the back. Nice, I don't know, full-size, queen-size bed, not sure. This is where you can welcome guests and dignitaries on board. Continue over to the left, this would be the dining room area for officers. We do have, what's over here? The Chief of Staff. Okay, yeah, this is where the Admiral's Chief of Staff would, his office would be. Pretty much think of it as like his administrative assistant. That's pretty much the best way to think of it. And the galley, his own private galley. This is where he would serve his, well, he would get his nice hot meals for himself, his guest commanding officers will too. In here, and so this was actually the war room. You can see where they had the tables where they would actually meet. That's actually a video of Rear Admiral Marsh, who was the commanding officer during Desert Storm, because the Midway was his flagship. So this is the one that would actually, he would be involved coordinating the efforts in Desert Storm. You got the maps right here, and then coordinate, we go into the next room, which is the command flag, I believe it was called, tactical flag. So this would be, think of it kind of like where they keep everything organized. So they had all the different countries that were involved with Desert Storm. Everything would be coordinated here on these computers. The staff that were here, radars, command, everything. Kept everything organized and in tracked flights going in and out. This would be the main hub, the brain, if you want to consider it. Oh, and here we got Radio Central over there. Oh, look at these. These pipes called bunny tubes, pneumatic messaging tubes. They had these back then still? Wow. I haven't seen one of these in ages. But they would transport the little, you know, the tubes like you used to have at the ATM or the banks when you make quick deposits to the tellers. Thanks to Samuel B. Morse, we got Morse code over here. And you can actually play around with and see if you can do your own little Morse code and type out your name. I'm not even gonna. That's what I said. This is actually an interesting fact, the expansion joint. So look to your left and your right, you will see the joint running across 250 feet across the width of this flight deck. And it was because the Midway was actually cut into essentially 3 pieces that would actually allow a little bit of a movement for the ability to move through sea. Here's a list of the commanding officers aboard the Midway, starting with Captain Joseph F. Bolger, all the way down to her most recent captains, Captain Larry L. Ernst. So here's the captain's, his bed, his living area, not too bad. There's Captain Ernst, who again was the last captain aboard the Midway, him and his family. His own private restroom. Nice little stand-up shower. Got his own little toilet.
Oh, hello, and welcome to the captain's cabin. I'm getting caught up on some paperwork and have to get up to the bridge soon, but it's great to have you aboard as my guest. I understand you've seen a fair share of our floating city here. You know, we have over 45.
So I guess we have an animatronic here of Captain Ernst.
It's my job to see that they're
I don't know
trained
how I
and
feel
ready to
about it, to be
meet every
honest with you.
mission we're called to do.
Going down a little bit further. Oh, look. He even has his own little personal kitchen. Looks like on the menu today is steak. The ATO, the Air Transfer Office, more commonly referred to as the ATO, is basically the air terminal for the aircraft carrier and battle group. So, pretty much a fancy airport. That's the best way to think about it. And the last one that's on board the flight deck is the ready rooms. That's pretty cool because, again, this is where the actual pilots would be getting themselves ready for their next assignments and missions. So we're entering into fighter country. But here is the pilot ready rooms. Some of the chairs that they would actually sit and wait, receive their orders, learn about the mission at hand. You got the flight commanding officer over there. But look at all the cool logos. Like I said, I'm a huge fan of these types of things, the logos and all that. Ooh, look at that, Black Aces. United States Navy Fighter Weapons School, or as you probably more refer to it as, Top Gun. There's an example of what was going on right there. You got the flight CO, the captain, telling the other guys over here what's up for today's mission. Some more chairs. Of course, there would be a couple different squadrons on board the Midway. Well, I like this one. Star Warriors. Here's another one. Like I said, this is the Navy Marine Light Attack Ready Room number 3. And this one right here looks like it's the Hawkeye Ready Room. This is going to be the sonar, those radar guys, the early detections, like that one plane we went on to. Got a flight gear locker here for the intruders. You can see they can put their overalls, coveralls, helmets in here as well. Well, I think we need to set this to red. What do you think? Same place on the hangar bay. There's also a spot we can go up the forward loop. Here's some of the highlights here. Got stave rooms, ready rooms, helicopter exhibit, the CAG, don't know what that is, the SIC, the forecastle, the berthing, and the G-Dunk. Let's see what this is. Aircraft Avionics Repair Shop. Oh, okay. So a repair facility right over there. It looks like a bunch of radio and communications, soldering equipment, whatnot. Things the types of guys would need to fix like radios and communication equipment. Oh, this is pretty cool. Squadrons of the USS Midway from 45 to 91. We got the squadron's commanding officer stateroom. This is his room right here. Not too bad. Nice accommodations. I'm assuming that's a pull-out couch sofa. And here we are with the ready room. Gila Anti-Submarine 12. This is their ready room. Lots of ready rooms here. Apparently a lot of people gotta get ready on this ship. High five. While we're walking through this area, there's a nice exhibit about the history of the Navy helicopter, going through the history of helicopters, starting with Igor Sikorsky. And you can see how some of the old versions of helicopters started, modernizing their way up. All right, here we go. Here's some modern versions of helicopters that we know today. How many planes were on board in 1945? You can see that's how many planes were there. 64 Corsairs, 64 Helldivers, 1 SNJ, and 4 Hellcats. Then about 20 years later, in 65, you got a bunch of Crusaders, 10 Phantoms, 20 Skyhawks, 12 Skyriders, or Skyraiders, excuse me, 4 Sky Warriors, 3 Tracers, and 4 Sea Sprites. And now to a more modern version. This is 91. You got a total of 68 aircraft in the group, 36 Hornets, 18 Intruders, 6 Sea Kings, 4 Hawkeyes, 4 Prowlers. And now we're in the junior officers, his quarters. Got the Navy shot. Oh my god, I'm sorry, sir. I apologize. I didn't mean to see you there. Oh, it's just a mannequin. Never mind. Personal closets and wardrobe here. A couple bunk beds here. Of course, not the greatest, but still better than the rest of the crew. And now on to the SIC exhibit. This is the Midway's Combat Information Center, was a tactical center of the ship. Okay, that makes sense. Oh, look at that. Okay. Very important on board a ship. Coffee. Oh, wow, look at this. Got some mood lighting going on over here. Secure Air Traffic Control Center. So this is it. And here we have the forecastle. Best way to do it is the way to bring up the anchor. And look at those big old chains. You definitely don't want a single one of those links to fall on your toe, because you probably won't have it afterwards. Wow. Some examples of some fancy ropes and knots here. And there you go, the chain leaning down into the water. And there you go. There's the anchor. Those are some big anchors. Whew. Got some cruise quarters over here, enlisted sailors' bunks. And just imagine, their whole life had to fit in this little 6-inch wide little cubby. Yeah, this is all the room that they would get right here. Obviously put a few of their couple versions of their uniforms, wash rags, linen for their bed, notes from loved ones, pictures, comics, you know, shoe black for their shoes. Not very much. This is the place to be, the store, and they're open. What we got here today? We got some tobacco. You can pick up some cartons. Oh, $5 for a carton. That's a good price. Not that I smoke, I just know the price. Packs are 50 cents, cigars are 50 cents, chew is 75. Store, oh, video rentals. What the heck is a video? You can pick up deck of cards, some chapstick, comb, brushes, even some watches? That's interesting. This guy's name is Creamer, by the way. I wonder how he takes his coffee. So we were able to answer all the questions on the junior pilot program, so now let's go back to the information booth to get that special prize. Look at this, I got my wings for completing the prize. Look at that, that's pretty cool. Time to head on below deck. Here are some of the highlights we get to check out. The chow line, the chapel, wardroom, laundry, the CPO mess deck, sick bay, and engineering. Well, here we are, we got the chow line. What's on the menu for today, boys? We got corned beef and hash browns, something that's supposed to represent scrambled eggs, but I've seen better eggs, bacon, sliced ham, which is better than whole ham, French toast, and chipped beef, which of course if you eat chipped beef you're going to get chipped teeth. Here is the chapel on board. Now of course it is geared towards the Christian religion, but I do know that this was eligible to be used by all those who are religious faith. Right there alone, I believe it's for the Jewish faith, they would keep the Torah in there. And you know, for non-Christian or non-denominational, they could have their services. A nice quiet room for prayer, observation, remembrance, whatever the case may be. And of course right next door would be the chaplain's quarter. Make quite sense for him to be here. Yeah. Go ahead on to the executive officer. Got a knock. And of course to remove your cover, but I'm not active duty, so I don't have to do it. Pretty decent accommodations here. Got a nice little couch here, his working office desk. His actual stateroom. Oh, pretty nice little bed right there. His wardrobe. Even had a nice little TV. His personal washroom. Oh, this would probably be his admin sailor. His chief of staff, communications, and of course probably his team that will work directly underneath him. Well, we're about to head into the wardroom, but first this is the dinner for today. On the menu, Creole soup, jerk chicken, Salisbury steak, rice, grilled and potatoes, gravy, peas and onions, dinner roll, salad bar, dessert bar, and tonight's entertainment is going to be Total Recall, that movie, brand new, hot movie. Very nice. And of course you have the POW MIA table dedicated for all those lost but never forgotten. And senior officer's wardroom. So these are the top guys over here would be have their own table away from the riffraff over here. Oh yeah, here's another mess hall. This is the dirty shirt wardroom, and I think it was called the dirty shirt because this is where the officers could wear their more casual outfits, or if they were working and you know the other place was a little more formal and fancy, this is a little more grungy and dirty. So this is what we refer to as a city, because you're going to get all the facilities that you need like a city, including a barber shop over here. I was going to get a little trim, but he'll be back in 15 minutes, so I'll just put my name on the list. You got the wardroom lounge, again, where officers could just enjoy themselves, maybe watch a little TV, read a book, just relax, unwind between shifts. Here we have, well, this is pretty much the hotel at sea. So, yeah, hotel services office. So this is where they would actually have day-to-day operation on the ship. Civilian contractors and dignitaries stayed aboard the Midway. These gentlemen will help them out with their needs. You can see they got their toiletries there, bedding, toiletries, towels, whatever they need for their stay on board the Midway. Ah, can't have a crew without some cleanliness. Got the laundry facilities down here. Gentlemen getting some apparel ready, nicely pressed and clean. Here's your schedule for the day, when to drop off and when to pick up. Officers, Tuesdays, Thursday, and Saturday. CPLs, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Black bags daily. And receiving hours, those are the times. Well, look at this. Ooh, even smells fresh in here. I like the smell. Oh my goodness, smells really nice. Oh look, somebody got my whiteies, my skitty whiteys in there. Look at that, tidy whiteys. Full on laundry services here. Got the pressing. Of course, you had to keep those uniforms nice and pressed. The laundry manual, what's this? Ah, they're used to press flat items such as sheets or tablecloths. Okay, makes sense. Oh look, NCIS. Are we on an episode of it right now? So here is NCIS, the Police Investigative Unit of the Navy. Of course, if you got some mail to drop off, hours of pickup, in port 7:30 to 1800 hours, and at sea, well, as announced. Though they were actually relatively efficient with mail sorting and delivering, it did take up to about 3 weeks to get mail. Now, the Command Master Chief. This is a position that arose from, Vietnam area, where CMCs, as they're called, were special assistants to the captains, monitoring the morale and overall satisfaction of the job and enlisting crew. So he was kind of like, I guess, the Navy's version of HR. And a Navy shower, of course, there would be a few of these on board, but here's one good example of one of them. Several stalls in there. Looks like there's about 5 in a row on this side. I'm sure there's a few on the other. Oh, looks like there's somebody using that bathroom right now. He's not the commanding officer, but he's clearly number 2. The thing that really keeps these guys moving, the galley. Got a bunch of ovens right over there. Got a big old hot griddle. I'm sure there's a couple of those here. Another serving station, an exact copy of the one that we just saw on the other side over there. And there we go. There is my recipe for cream chip beef. Here you go. Take it down. It's delicious. Not really, it's terrible. And obviously, for those who have ADA needs, the Midway was obviously built without ADA considerations. This is prior to ADA law, and of course, this was an active duty military vessel before it was turned into a museum. But they do have some things like this throughout, where they do have accessibility for you to get down below and above decks, but you wouldn't be able to go through some of the hallways and aisleways and which way because of the, the lips in the doorway that are going to, they wouldn't be able to have wheelchair or those with certain mobility issues go through. But they do have these video tours where you can essentially press the button and watch a section of the areas that are in the back area that you wouldn't be able to get to see. So that's at least nice that they consider that for people with ADA needs. We got some of the classic uniforms that the enlisted men would wear. There's their whites, their dress blues and whites, their traditional denims. This is a classic example of a boot camp locker that they would get with all the equipment that they would be ordered. Here's a nice little version of the trunk that they would have. They got some shoes, their peak coats, sweaters, raincoats, their shirts, their pants, their trousers, socks, hats, swim trunks, boot black, and some belts and gloves. All provided to you by Uncle Sam. Right here is a weapons elevator shaft. Let's take a look here. Oh yeah, looks like they're preparing a torpedo or a bomb of some sort. And it loads up all the way up to here, to this doorway, and the one on the other side. We'll go down to the CPO mess. So here is the little lounge area. Got a gaming table, benches, chairs for them to enjoy. Oh, here we go, so I can get my hair cut here. This guy looks like he's almost done and I can step in next. This gentleman looks like he's enjoying his nice cup of coffee. Oh, here's the nice mess. Oh, it looks like tables that look like the old school McDonald's and Wendy's. That's kind of cool. Ooh, we got fancy dinners over here. Look at this. We got steak, lobster, corn on the cob, potatoes, rolls, peas. Oh my goodness, this is the place to be. We got supply depot over here. Oh, here's some of the supply areas. Gentlemen offloading or unloading some of the items that are needed for the Midway. Air Boss. I like that title, Air Boss. Off to the post office and metal shop now. Oh, here's the post office. There you go. Here's a gentleman manning the post office. So which one of you is the Postmaster General? Milling shop, the metal shop. Had to machine some pieces that are needed, repair something that are needed for the ship. Here you go. I see a lot of presses, a lot of drills, sanders, lots of heavy equipment here. A very, very important part of this whole ship is the engine room. We're heading into it right now. Obviously, I'm assuming this is just a portion of the engine room, but still, pretty amazing. A scuttlebutt. The name of a drinking fountain is called a scuttlebutt. I never knew that. Main engine control. Main control is where the chief engineer and engineering office on the watch would make sure everything is running properly. It took us a while to get here, but now that we're here, I don't want to be here now because this is the ship's brig. You come here, you are not in for a good time. And here you go. Here's your brig toilet, your brig shower, your brig scuttlebutt, and your brig prisoner. Time for payday, fellas. This is where you go, turn in your slips and get paid for your day. Or weeks, or however they got. Every 2 weeks, they got paid every 2 weeks. This is where you would go. Head on down into sick bay. Got a couple of sick cots over here. Ooh, is that nice therapy? That's a nice therapy bath, nice. There's an inpatient ward for those who can't wait to be treated. Here we got the ICU. Oh boy, I don't know if this guy don't look too good. He hasn't moved in quite a while. You have an operating room here. Lab and pharmacy over here. Oh yeah, we got full labs here. We got microscopes. Here we got one that you can check out for yourself. Oh, yep, found a scurvy. It's right there. That's scurvy. On our way now to the Midway Dental Department. I could use some work done on my teeth. We got the dental laboratory here. Oh, look, we got a guy here who's making some prosthetics. Some teeth, crowns, implants, dentures, whatever need be. Gentleman over there making some as well too. Up here is the dental chair. And the dental admin office. Here's where you actually check in, make your appointments, and you got to remove your cover. And of course, if you're familiar with the channel, we always got to stop at the gift shop. Let's check to see what items they got. Of course, they're going to have a lot of Top Gun items. Makes sense to have it here. Sweaters, t-shirts. Pretty cool little jacket. That's actually really nice with all the patches. That's pretty cool. That goes for $220. They have a blue one and a black one. They got some leather jacket versions of them and some hoodie sweaters. Of course, they'll have the Midway branded items, t-shirts. All of them are averaging about $29 with the Midway, the logo, dimensions, specifics of the ship. Items such as keychains, Midway ones, Top Gun ones. Oh, get one of these ones. The USS Midway, removed before flight. Those cool tags that they put on. Of course, has some wonderful mugs here. This one with the USS Midway logo, the museum's logo, shot glasses for measuring purposes, of course. Oh, this is actually kind of cool, like the Flying Tigers. That's a pretty cool, nifty mug. Well, after watching this video, I think you and I both know ship. And for your little pilots in training, look at you get their own little flight suit. That's actually really cute. Their own little bomber jacket. These are cute aviator shades. Literally, aviator glasses. Well, that is going to do it for today's journey here aboard the USS Midway Museum. I had a great time. Hope you did as well too. We got to check out all the cool planes on board. Obviously, experience what it was like for sailors to be aboard this historical vessel. And overall, had a great time learning a little bit about history. So if you like this video, do me a huge favor, give a big thumbs up for me. Second, subscribe. Third, hit the notification bell. And then make sure to follow me on social media at BigRedJourneys, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, for even more content heading your way. So from me to you, thank you. And I'll see you on the next journey. Bye-bye now.